Hello and welcome to part 11 of our guide for Dominion 6 for new players. In this episode we'll finish our first year in the game and we'll have a brief overview of what's happened in that and what we've achieved so far. So we went through the messages a little bit at the end of the last episode. Main thing is we won a bunch of battles and we've taken a bunch more territory. So what's our plan now? I think we're going to probably grab Ursnek and we are going to end up bringing him back to Monarboa just to make sure our borders look nice. I don't really want to be going into this other landmass here just due to the enemy dominion that seems to be all around it. I'm not feeling that great about it. We could potentially also head over to Ixabothia, potentially just to get some sort of a foot ground there, but from the looks of the infantry there, I don't think there's much point. We'll be split off from our main forces. It'll probably just get taken by Bandar-log when we eventually go to war with them, so let's not bother for now. Let's see what we can recruit in the pit. Some shamblers are not that great. We'll get 10 province defense just so we can get all the income by reducing unrest, but there's not much income here to be had. The Shadow Glade, that's a good province. We'll make sure we definitely get 10 here. What can we recruit there? Crossbowmen. Given that we have a bunch of gold, we are actually going to grab a bunch of crossbowmen, and we're also probably going to grab another commander just so we can start getting people moving about a little bit more. With our scout here for now in Forest of Giller, we're going to start constructing a palisade. We might as well. There's no point not to. We have the money for it. As it goes for Conrad, he did not find a site, which is unfortunate. Folk has completed the laboratory here. So when our priest-smith gets here next turn, he can build a temple. We'll start being able to produce those druids a little bit, just do some more site searching for us, and that'll be great. The palisade only has 2 months left. So I think we're in a pretty good situation. We've got one fortress nearly completed, and we have another one that we've just started. And plenty more places to expand into. Speaking of which, we're going to send Lothar, and we've got a choice of Drokar or Summer Edge. We don't know about Summer Edge. We know there's some heavy cavalry here, which could be an issue, but that province is too juicy not to take. I think we're just going to go for it. I'm sure we'll be fine. For our spy in Conberg, it is actually cold enough thanks to that random event that we can cross the river. So let's start heading, we'll probably start heading up this way a little bit as much as we can. For our other scout, let's start getting further into Bandar-log territory. And for Frithgern, part of me does want to take Strongdale here, but it'll not be much of a choke point given those mountains there. Our heat dominion will mean that it'll be very easy for units to cross over them. It won't really be a choke point. Plus, there is a very good chance that Bandar is going to move with these elephants somewhere else. I don't really want to get caught by them at the moment. Let's just keep heading north. We'll head up to the Silver Woods. We don't really know what's here, but we can at least conquer this territory and then potentially go somewhere else. Our dominion has spread also to Urbon. That's another farmland. That's also worth quite a bit of money. We'll probably want to start working towards that. Overall, the map's starting to make a little bit more sense. As we can see here, we're getting a lot more information, and you can finally see properly that east to west wraparound where we're just heading back to the same place over and over again. Very nice. Let's head over to Ulm and we'll do some more recruitment. Let's get a couple more priest-smiths, and we'll get probably another couple of black knights and a bunch of infantry of Ulm. Very good. We have a decent force here. We could potentially think about expanding with it soon. We might get rid of this priest-smith and get another Black Lord instead. It will cut down the amount of infantry we can make this turn, but I think that's fine. We'll get them both out next turn. We'll probably also, for our Black Lord, make another Black Steel Sword. We might as well. We're not really losing anything for it. We have enough Earth Gems. And that should be fine. We have done defense for both of our provinces, not for this new one, however. So let's make sure we get that. As it comes for independence here, we have another sort of tribal shaman type. This guy does have potential paths, especially in astral and blood and water, but it's only a 10% chance. I think we maybe hold off and see if we can get somebody better. We will probably build a fort here though. Not for these troops. These troops are terrible. Although you can always do some fun things with people with slings. If you get fire arrows, that's always a fun spell to use with them. I think we will build a fort here anyway. It's a rather central location. It means we're guarding this bridge. If we can get our dominion out, it means it'll be too warm for people to cross the rivers. I think that's a good tactic for us to do. As it comes for our scout, let's start heading further into the caves here. And as for our spy, we'll get him over to the crystal fields here. Just want to find out more about what's in these caves. And with that, that's us done with all our commanders. We have a little bit of money left, but I don't think we need to... Oh, whoops, didn't mean to do that. I don't think we need to recruit anything else. I think we're quite happy with our troops so far. Seems like our undisciplined units did flee. A bit of a shame. But it's okay, somebody else can go pick them up in a second. So we've done our actions, we've done our recruitment. Let's double check our research again. So we'll get Conjuration 3 this turn. Nice, our research has shot up quite a bit. And then after that, we'll start working on Construction 3. I think we might queue up Enchantment 3 next. Mostly because we get Gift of Giant Strength, which gives a group of soldiers increased strength. That'll be good for our troops. It means that our Master Smiths can do a little bit more buffing. And we can see here that we've got this Ignite arrows here. It's a very small area of effect to start with, but an extra 8 armor-piercing fire damage on slings is very funny. It means that those units can actually punch quite a bit above their weight. Otherwise, I don't really see us casting that spell much. I haven't really talked about some of Ulm's infantry. We have crossbows here. They're not actually crossbowmen. They're using Arbalists. Arbalists fire once every 3 rounds rather than a crossbows once every 2. And the damage, it does quite a bit of damage. It is armor piercing. These guys actually have a good chance of actually hurting your own troops in combat. Their precision isn't great. You don't really have the paths to particularly buff them properly. So it means a lot of their shots aren't going to be on target, and if they hit your troops, especially the guys without shields, they have a good chance of doing quite a lot of damage and they could potentially kill them. So I don't really like using these guys. We could potentially recruit our sappers here. Sappers are kind of interesting. They have a crossbow, which is useful, but they're also good at sieging. We will go into sieging more once we actually get a location to siege, and I'll go through some of the tactics then. As for now, we'll just leave it as we are. As far as our unit recruitment goes, I think we're going to kind of keep with the whole Infantry of Ulm and Black Knights for the moment. We'll probably send this Black Lord to start heading out into the underground here to start trying to take some of these territories, seeing as they seem to be quite good. And yeah, I think that's everything for this round. So with that, let's end our turn and we'll go on to the next one. Okay, so now we're in late winter. Again, we've searched for magic sites. We haven't seen anything. Conjuration is done. There was a battle in the Silver Woods. So here we go. Here's our Black Lord and his knights. They're going to take on some more tribals. I don't foresee this being an issue. Our knights here are running around the back. They're attacking this backmost squad. We can see here that we've got a tree against us. That's not great. This Black Knight seems to be particularly slow for some reason. I don't know if there's something wrong with his combat speed. Combat speed of 10 in comparison to 20, but okay, of course it's the mount that we have to worry about. So when it comes to the knights and their mounts, they both have different tabs on the same unit. Yeah, so this mount has a limp, which means his combat speed is halved. That's why he's not being able to keep up. Not an issue. When that mount dies, he should be able to walk home and grab another one, as long as he doesn't fail his morale checks. This tree could be kind of a problem, but I see our guys are starting to move towards the back. They're going to absolutely obliterate this Shan. Yeah, there we go. And the independent armies are routed anyway. We will have to fight this tree for a little bit until it crumbles from lack of leadership, which I hope will happen any second. Now, you can see that trees are actually pretty tough. There is a fun spell you can do later on in the game if you have high nature, which is Awaken the Forest, where you will turn every bush and every tree on the map into an awake being that will fight for your side. It's very funny. Lucid has a video on that. I would recommend anybody just watch that quickly if you want a little bit of a chuckle. Okay, so we can see here from the summary that our Black Lord killed 10, Black Knights killed 39. These guys are pretty strong. And we had another battle in Droiga. This is with our Prophet and his little band. These are quite a few heavy cavalry. We're going to take the charge here. It's going to hurt. We might take a few casualties here. Yeah, we took at least one. But we'll just start smacking away at them. Where's our knights? Our knights, ah, beautiful. They're coming into the back here. They're going to start going for their commanders and their bodyguards. Yeah, they've killed one of the commanders. You just got to kill this guy now. Come on. Oh, he's doing well. Ah, he's dead. There we go. They must have another commander here. No, that's a heavy infantry. Where is their other commander? I can't tell, but it doesn't matter. The independent army is routed. We will have taken quite a bit of casualties there. 3. That's not too bad. You should always expect to take a little bit of attrition damage while you're expanding, so it's not too much of an issue. Overall, pretty simple turn. Can't really complain about anything like that. We're expanding pretty well. Ooh, a Hoburg province. We don't know anything about it. Sorry, Hoburgs are a fun race. They are very small people. They make excellent crossbowmen, as far as I can remember. I think they have higher precision than humans. So what we might do is we might send Lothar over there, and we'll maybe start recruiting our own little tiny men army. Okay, so looking at the Silver Woods, wow, Death 4. There is some interesting magical sites or events that have happened in this province. I think we want to get our troops out of there as soon as possible. Let's get a little bit of defense. We'll check what we can get here. Again, it's just Deer Tribe. Deer Tribe are similar to a Bear Tribe, but they're more ranged base. You can see that they both have a ranged weapon. They're not quite as good in close combat as the Bear Tribe. Bear Tribe a little bit stronger as well. We are probably going to send Frithgern up to Gaeta, and then he can move down to the Oaklands, and we can maybe try and have a little think about what to do after that. Pompeius will move further in. We'll move our other scout further into Bandarlog territory. Actually, I guess we can use our other scout for that. Let's try and find out what's happening down here. I am a little bit concerned about the fact that we haven't seen this other third nation yet. I'm wondering where they are and if they are potentially underground. Okay, so we found another silver deposit. Wow, so these cave provinces seem to be really rich. We're going to have to start making our way towards them. Let's have a little look at our commanders. So we have Folk. He has searched everything here. He could move into Amiradon. We could start building a... Now that it's cold because of that throne, we could just trap him over in Moss Woods and build another fort here. I think we will. I think we're actually going to take Rothari and Folk over into this battle here. We'll set them up right at the back so that they won't get hurt. And let's set up a couple of spells for them. We've also unlocked Summon Earth Power, seeing as we finished our Conjuration, so we're going to have to change our spell for our Earth Snake. We're now going to get him to Summon Earth Power and Personal Stone Skin. That'll mean that with his current reinvigoration of 3, he'll be at reinvigoration 7. I believe. I'm pretty sure it's 4 for Summon Earth Power. Which means that on top of the fatigue loss every round, he'll be losing 8 fatigue a round. Which is very nice. That'll mean that his stats will stay high and he won't take as many penalties to attacking. Not that he does very much by attacking anyway, but you know, it's always nice. So yeah, we'll send our Priestsmith and our Mastersmith over there. We're going to try and get into the Moss Woods here now. Let's get ourselves a little commander dude. He's going to move up into the Moss Woods. So, we can just recruit one from the Moss Woods instead. Let's do that. That'll be good for us. That means we get another fortification, which is going to be pretty easily defended. We control all the sea around it, and it'll make a really good research hub for us later on in the game. Does mean we're going to have to use one of our other Priestsmiths over in Felden Forest to go there, and we're going to send Pippin, another one of our Priestsmiths, up into the Forest of Gila. He's going to start constructing a laboratory and a temple there. And that'll be all good. We'll get Conrad to search this site. And we'll get our commander to start grabbing some of these troops. So we can start bringing them to our other expansion parties. We'll probably come back for Summer Edge. I haven't really thought about this path properly. I probably should have gone for Summer Edge. Then I could have gone for Droikar. But I wanted the gold. So I was being a bit greedy. Always keep an eye on where your expansion paths are leading to. We'll probably just get our Black Knights to go into the Oaklands and then come down to Summer Edge. Because they're mounted, they have a higher map move, as you can see by their map move of 16 in comparison to Lothar's army, which you can see where the number in the brackets has a map move of 8. So they're only moving 1 province a turn. There's potential for the cavalry to move 2, so we'll use them to clean up the mess behind the lines. Okay, so things are looking pretty good for us. We're going to get a couple more scouts just so we can see what's happening around the world. We'll get another one in Kronberg as well, probably get 2. What can we recruit in Droikar? We've got mounted commanders again, and we could get some heavy cavalry. It might be worth it just to try and get a few of them, so we can reinforce some of our other troops if they take any losses. As for Ulm itself, let's get some more Priestsmiths. And we're going to get a couple more knights. And we're probably also going to start recruiting some guardians, just because we're so close to Bandar Log. So guardians are probably the closest thing Ulm has to a sacred troop. They're not actually sacred, so you can't give them a bless. What they are, though, is they are anti-sacred. So they're black halberds here. Not only do they do magic damage, and they have pretty decent damage at that, they also have an extra effect called Bane of Heresy. When they swing their halberd, if they hit that entire square of the target that they hit, will take 15 fatigue damage if they are either a pretender god or a sacred unit. Which is very, very good. Basically, these guys, if you can get 3 of them in a square, they all attack one square. Let's say they all hit, which would be excellent. Not necessarily guaranteed, but it would be pretty excellent. All 3 of them swing. Not only have you done probably quite a bit of damage to whatever's in that square, but the enemy unit's probably also taking somewhere in the range of about 45 fatigue damage, a little bit less. The fatigue damage is only armor piercing. It's not armor negating, so their protection will hopefully be able to protect them a little bit against fatigue damage. So yeah, we're going to get a few of those guys for the upcoming war with Bandar Log. We're not going to go to war just yet, just because not that I don't think we can win, but I want to make sure that we have enough troops to do so. We're actually maybe going to tell Augustus to build a palisade here rather than sneaking further up. We can send another scout out that way soon. It means that we're using up more of our gold as well. We're not wasting anything, and it means that we're going to get another fortress up fairly shortly. Okay, let's cycle through our commanders. So we have our new expansion party here with our Black Lords. So we're going to do the same thing we did with the other Black Lord. We're going to get these 5 guys. They're going to guard him. I'm going to tell him to attack and hold rear. Remember, we saved the scripting from when we did our other Black Lord, so we can just use it here again. These guys are going to attack rear. And we're also going to get our troops onto him. They're going to hold an attack closest, and we're going to put them into a line formation like that. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. We'll pass him over his Black Steel Sword. Here's our Stone Bird that we got from the random event. The Stone Birds are quite interesting in that they do have a lot of attacks. We might actually just give that to our new Black Lord. We might as well. It will go in his miscellaneous slot. I didn't really speak about this when I went through items, so every unit has certain slots that they can take depending on if they have arms. They can put stuff on their arms. If they don't have arms, like our Ursnek, he cannot wield a sword, unfortunately. But, you know, it could be worse. You've got different body slots, a head slot. Some people have a body slot. There's a foot slot as well for our mounted commanders. This foot slot is disabled, so there's no point putting anything on there. And you can also put items onto your mounts as well. For our horse, it's just barding. Some other mounts, I believe there is a tiger for a pretender who is a mount that you can put on accessories, and they can be pretty good. Means you can get a lot of items onto the single unit. Okay, and with that, I think that's our scripting done for that army. We may actually send him over with a little bit of mage support. Our mages can potentially do something a bit more useful. We'll get him to summon earth power and personal stone skin. And it might be worth it just casting burn a couple of times for some of these guys. It's got pretty decent range. I think there's nothing wrong with that. Let's just get him to cast burn and cast a couple of spells. We don't really have any buffing spells at the moment. We're actually going to put them behind our Black Knights for when we can start buffing people. And we'll copy those orders onto this guy here. Okay, let's head over to Yankeep, and we'll probably take the path from Yankeep into Underhome, and we'll start our underground expansion like that. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about that. Okay, pressing N again. That's all of our commanders. We'll double check our research here quickly. We're going to get construction 2, not next turn, but next again. We did take a couple of our researchers off, so that'll be why. And yeah, we'll see how we do in Monoboa, we'll see how we do in Droigar, we'll see how we do in the Silver Woods. You can see now that our expansion is starting to speed up a little bit. That's kind of what you want. You want to get these expansion armies out, take as much land as you can, get the gold that you can, use it to invest in forts and mages so you can research and you can produce more mages and more units. That's the aim of the game in the first couple of turns. This next turn will bring us to turn 12, which should bring us back into spring, and that'll be a full year that we've played in Dominion 6. Alright, let's see how we do. Aha, so Conrad has found a magical site. Excellent, we'll have a look at it in a second. There's a battle in the Land Pristine, which is us attacking the little Hoburgs here. You can see how small they are. They're size 2, not very strong. Yeah, they have a little bit better precision than the average person. But you can see, because they're size 2, you can get so many of them in a square. They're really good. You can get 5 guys in one square. The attack density you get from that is really good for dealing with things like giants. They don't do much damage, but there's enough attacks there that you reduce the giant's defense skill to 0, just through harassment penalty. So even if you're not doing enough damage, you're hitting enough that you'll be able to kill it fairly easily. And because there's 5 guys there, the giant will do 1 really damaging attack per round. You'll probably kill one of your guys. But then somebody else will just be able to take his place. We're almost certainly going to get a fortress up in this territory. I'm really not happy with these crossbowmen. I'm glad that our knights are taking them out. You can see here, well, that's one of their commanders there. The champion, he is lucky, so he might dodge a couple of our killing attacks. We'll just have to see. It does look like that we're doing pretty well. Ooh, that crossbow bolt did a lot of damage. Our infantry of Ulm, though, they're kind of having the problem the giants have, and they only swing once per turn. And it's kind of, these guys are fairly difficult to hit. They've got decent defense skill. But I think we've routed that squad. We should be routing this squad. Yeah, there we go. They're gone. Great work, boys. Let's have a little look at our casualties. We took 1 Black Knight casualty. Ugh. That's bad. I didn't really want that to happen, but those crossbows were pretty rough, especially on that charge. Do note that in a battle, you can lose either the mount or the rider. If you lose the mount, the rider will attempt to go back to his home province where he was recruited and get another one, which means the next cavalry that you recruit there will be slightly cheaper than it would be otherwise. If the rider dies, the mount will also try and get back if it can. If you've got one rider who's lost his mount and you've, say, lost another rider, the rider who's still alive will take that mount and use it for himself. Okay, so we took the battle in the Land of Pristine. There was another battle in Monoboa. This is Ursnek and a couple of our priests at the very, very back, who are fighting off against the forces of the Independents. So we can see here, we summoned a hawk. I don't know where it went. Sure, it's around here somewhere. But let's go and fight. Oh, there it is. It just came in to die. But, I mean, it kind of tanked that barbarian for a little bit, so that's nice. We can see here that we're taking a little bit of damage on good old Ursnek. He should be absolutely fine. Yeah, it seems like he's already killed them, and they've already routed from the field. Excellent. That was really not a bad battle. We didn't lose either of our smiths either, which is the most important thing, seeing as we need them to build up the infrastructure. There was a battle in Gaeta, which will be our Black Lord and his mounted troops. They do have some heavy cavalry here, so we're going to have cavalry on cavalry clash. That was a pretty nasty lance charge, but we struck them right back. Let's go. Easy. And with that, they're already routed. Wow, that was absolutely crushing. We managed to countercharge with our cavalry fairly well. And that went pretty good. And most importantly, we didn't lose anybody. And that's another province for us. There's an unexpected event in Ulm, which has given us +1 growth and +5 province income in the province. That's excellent. Really what we want. Conrad found this magical site, the elusive lights. There we go. We've now got a fire gem income, and we also have an air gem income. Once we get construction 3, that's going to be a game changer. We're going to be able to give Conrad a dwarven hammer, and he's going to be able to start getting out those owl quills for us to really increase our research. For the moment, however, we'll just get him to keep going about. For Pippin himself, we'll get him to construct a building, we'll construct a lab. We're sitting over here. It looks like our fortress is done. We can tell Audrey to continue building a fortress. We did take over Monoboa. Let's get some extra defense there. There's a bit of unrest. Not too happy about that. We'll get Rothari over to the Moss Woods, and we'll tell folk to start searching. We're going to construct this palisade here in the Moss Woods. I think things are going pretty well. Okay, anyway, I got a little bit carried away there. Just wanted to check a few things. Oh, there was some other messages as well. Suddenly, Hildegard the Heroine has appeared at the Citadel. So this is one of our special national heroes. So Hildegard is a female fighter who rides a unicorn. She's very well respected, so she could actually be really good for leading an expansion army. You can see that she has 100 leadership, which is pretty good going. She's also a skilled rider, which means that her mount gets increased morale and defense skill. Good, that means we won't have to recruit another Black Lord. We will probably want to kit her out a little bit as she doesn't have the best armor, just to make sure she doesn't die, but you can see here that she has a whopping 21 defense skill, which is insane. She's really going to be hard to kill. Add on to that, she's attack skill 15. Once she's got some, let's just say some better weapons, she'll be a pretty decent lord. We can potentially even kit her out with some other stuff to make her a better leader. We'll get to that later. Let's start by doing a recap. So this is turn 12. We've officially been playing for a year. We have completed one fortification, and we've nearly got it producing mages. In fact, we will be able to do that at the start of next turn. If we go into our income tab, we can see that we have, looking into our income overview, we have 19 provinces at the end of the first year. Remember what I was saying before, that it used to be that if you got 20 in your first year, that's pretty good. We've got 19 and we're fighting against harder independence. I think we've done really well to expand as well as we have. By using our Black Knights so well, we're able to expand very efficiently across the map. And if we had done a little bit better in terms of pathing, then perhaps we would have maybe hit the magical number of 20. But hindsight's 2020. I think we're in a really good spot for going into the mid-game. On top of that, we've also completed our first fortification, which we're now upgrading into a fortress. We're also constructing an additional palisade, another additional palisade, and another additional palisade. The fact that we're producing an additional 3 fortifications at the start of year 2 is pretty insane. We are doing really well in terms of expansion and expanding our infrastructure. Don't worry if you at home haven't managed to get this many provinces. As I said previously, the independents in Dominion 6 are far stronger than they ever were in Dominions 4 and Dominions 5, unless you turn them up in your game settings. As it stands, I think as long as you get 10 provinces, you'll be okay. You won't be in quite a dominating position as we are here, but you should be on your way to getting your first fort, especially if you've been kind of lucky like we have and gotten some high income provinces as well. As it stands for fighting against Bandar Log, we're getting a little bit of a better idea of them. We can probably guess that their capital is somewhere along here. I don't believe it's any one of these provinces, but we'll maybe try and check it out a little bit more when we get a chance. We have some decent expansion forces. We obviously have our forces with our Black Lord. We have our other force here led by our Prophet. We've got our new one led by another Black Lord who's going to be heading into the underground. And we've obviously got our Sneck as well, who's being useful in his own little way. I definitely think we wouldn't have gotten as many provinces if it wasn't for Earthsneck. The fact that he has managed to move into the sea and take 3 additional provinces for us, we wouldn't have been able to do that as all. It's one of the great benefits of your Pretender design. If you can design it in a way that it gives you access to things that your nation normally wouldn't be able to, perfect. Gives you so many more options in game, lets you do so many additional things. Okay, and with that, I think we can probably call an end to this episode. I think we've done really well so far over the course of this tutorial. Hopefully it's explained a few things for you guys as well. Hopefully you understand a little bit more about my expansion ideas. Now we're going to start to focus a little bit more on the mid-game, and we're going to be focusing on scripting mages, getting our research, finishing all the construction of our infrastructure, and really start pumping out some armies for our inevitable combat with Bandar Log. But for now, we'll finish it here. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, take care.